Christmas, a time of joy, love, and compassion. A Christmas movie just gives us a sense of wholesomeness and peace. Well, forget about all that because this is not what today's Christmas movie is going to be like. Hi guys, welcome back to Movie Myth. Today's movie explores this crazy scenario in 2022's horror hit, Violent Night. This movie revolves around a violent Santa brutally fighting off home invaders as he delivers his presents on Christmas Eve. The film earned itself a 6.7 on IMDb as well as 73% on Rotten Tomatoes, showing both critics and audiences alike appreciated the movie, a rare feat for a horror movie. It is a fun concept for a Christmas movie to revolve around violence and gore, with Santa being a brutal berserker. So let's get into the details as to why this movie earned its title. Violent Night. It is Christmas Eve, the night before my favorite day of the year. An unknown man dressed as Santa is getting drunk at a bar when he meets another older man dressed just like him, and they start talking about Santa stuff. The concerned bartender asks our man if he's driving, to which he jokingly replies that he steers a little while the reindeer does most of the work, and the others laugh at his comment. The older man says it's his 4th year working as a Santa, and our mystery man says that he's been doing it for so long he can't keep track and forgot why he started doing it in the first place. He voices his disdain for people's greed and the children's never-ending demands and ponders if this is going to be his final year, the last Christmas. He gets going and says that the presents aren't going to deliver themselves, which again they take as a joke. He hands the bartender a Christmas gift for her grandson, telling her to save him a trip, and she's surprised that he knows that she didn't get him a present yet, and knows just what to get her grandson. He makes his way up to the roof, and the bartender goes after him, but he disappears, only to see him flying away on his sled. Our mystery man is the real Santa Claus himself. At the same time, in a different time zone, a man with his wife and daughter are on their way to the family Christmas gathering. They arrive at a big mansion filled with staff and a security team, indicating that they are from a wealthy family. A suspicious-looking man sets his watch for something as we are taken to the living room with the family. The family meets in the living room, and the man Jason hints to his wife Linda that he had a tough upbringing in this wealthy family. Jason meets his sister Alva, and she tells him she's waiting for their mother to leave the wealth for one of them. Alva makes a condescending comment to the bartender who is visibly irritated by it, and Jason apologizes on her behalf. The movie hints that Jason and Linda have drifted apart with time, as he tells her that he's glad she's there. Ignoring the awkwardness, she asks to be brought up to speed on the family's gossip, so he introduces her to his sister's son Bert, a typical spoiled brat who was accused of sexual harassment, but his mother paid the school off to get it to go away. We then go over to Tragic Morgan, an action hero wannabe, and Alva's husband. Morgan is only interested in Alva for her money, and he wants the mother to fund a movie for him. They suddenly all dive into a state of panic when they hear the mother arriving. The mom is as vulgar as it gets, a businesswoman who instills fear in her children and the poor person on the phone with her. It appears that she prioritizes work over her family. Jason, on the other hand, could not care less that his mother's coming, which raises suspicions. They ask Jason what his angle is for not offering a reception and accuse him of being up to something. He replies that he's just not sucking up to mom as the rest of them, even though both their children were named after their mother Gertrude. The man being belittled on the phone turns out to be the senator, and Gertrude finally joins her family. Gertrude finds it weird that everyone is standing all the way at the back of the room but is happily greeted by her granddaughter. Gertrude becomes annoyed when she learns that people call her granddaughter Trudy. They make their way to eat dinner as Alva and Morgan continue sucking up to her. Meanwhile, Santa is eating cookies as he delivers gifts around the city while continuing to drink and be gloomy. Trudy expresses her tremendous Christmas spirit and leaves cookies and a candy cane for Santa. She reveals that her father didn't take her to see Santa at the mall this year, and now Santa won't know what she wants. Jason leaves and tells them that he'll be right back and sets off to improvise. He goes to the basement and searches for Christmas wraps. He gives Trudy a walkie-talkie and tells her that this walkie links directly to Santa and she can talk to him and wish whatever she wants. She talks to Santa about all the things she thought she wanted this year, but she realized that the only thing she really wants is for her parents to get back together and be a family again. Santa, who arrives at their mansion, scolds his reindeer for being unprofessional and pooping on the roof. He remarks that Rudolph would never do this, hinting that Santa has some kind of beef with Rudolph. He makes his way inside and enjoys Trudy's cookies and keeps the candy cane for later, then finds expensive alcohol and helps himself to a glass before making himself comfortable on a massage chair. In the security room, the suspicious man creeps from behind a guard and knocks him out. He sets his watch again and it signals to several other staff members. He takes out the phone lines and Bert immediately complains about the internet, to which Gert reminds Alva that she begged her to beat him when he was still young. A mysterious man knocks at the gatekeeper's door and tells him that he's lost, before shooting the guard. He checks with the team as they look to be set on a Christmas Eve robbery. At the same time, Jason and Linda argue with each other about the fact that he didn't take Trudy to see Santa. Jason asks Linda if she would consider them going back together, revealing that he plans to stop being under his mom's thumb and leave the family forever. His intentions are suspicious as Linda asks him what he's up to, but before we can find out, we hear the fired gunshots in the distance. The robbers take out the entire security, while Santa is sleeping on the job. He is startled by the gunfire as the robbers take out the staff in a carefully planned, precise hit. Gert's security team takes her away to the panic room without her children as the robbers infiltrate the house. We find the incompetent Santa trying to sneak away. As Gert enters the panic room, she finds the mystery man, who says that for the night his name is Mr. Scrooge, and takes out her security. Santa hides from the team as they sweep the house and begins to panic. He tries to do some type of magic trick up the chimney but fails. It seems he's a little short on Christmas magic as one of the robbers finds him hiding behind a Christmas tree. The man hits Santa repeatedly as Santa warns him that he doesn't want to do this. Santa suddenly gets serious, displaying incredible brute strength, and knocks the guard down, which sets off shots toward the reindeer, making them fly away without Santa. Santa engages in a violent but comedic fight with the man. He tries the same trick again and fails before he finally knocks the man out the window and gets dragged with him. He finds that the man has been impaled by a decoration spike in a brutal fashion. Santa has just committed murder. As Santa makes his way away from the mansion to escape, he hears Scrooge rounding up the family in the living room. Gert tries to intimidate him, but he doesn't budge. He tells her that he did his research and spent months planning this heist. Santa looks at Trudy's scared face and is unable to leave her. He turns back and decides that it's up to him to save Christmas. Morgan once again believes he's some action hero who can settle this entire situation if they didn't have guns. Gert is bewildered by Scrooge's constant Christmas references and tells him that if he's done his research, he'd know that her brother was kidnapped in the 70s, but they never called the police. They sent an extraction team and recovered him a week later while the kidnappers were never found. Stone Cold Gertrude. Scrooge reveals that he knows about her kill squad and how long it'll take them to get there. He says that he also knows that she has $300 million in her vault downstairs that she stole from the government. They start hacking into the vault when Scrooge is called to observe the dead man's body that was impaled. They figure that someone else is in the mansion. Trudy brings out her walkie and starts calling for Santa. At the same time, Santa is in the basement desperately looking for any weapon inside his magic duffel bag, but they're all video games. Santa attacks a guard with a toy and continues fetching for weapons as the guard beats him up around the room. He attacks him with billiard balls and once again goes into a comedic fight with visually appealing violence. The guard cuts Santa and Santa stabs him in the eye with a mistletoe, enraging the guard. He lights up the decoration, electrocuting the man and frying his head. Santa takes a radio from his body and tries switching channels to find 911, but accidentally reaches Trudy's channel and begins talking to her. Santa looks up Trudy's name in a magic scroll and looks at all the good deeds she's done, telling her she's on the nice list. She tells him that she's in the room with the bad guys, and he looks at the scroll again to find that 6 naughty people are left on the list. Santa asks Trudy what to do in this situation as if she's the adult, and he's not the one thousands of years old. The team discovers Santa on the cameras as he discovers the gatekeeper's body. Scrooge talks to Santa through the radio, and Santa says that he wants him to let the family go so he can find his reindeer to continue delivering the presents. Scrooge thinks he's messing with him and continues speaking through Christmas references and metaphors. Santa tells him that he's coming to town before discovering that he's badly bleeding. Scrooge asks Gert who she hired to play Santa, and she tells him that she never hires one. He tells her that he'll start torturing everyone in the family till she tells him. Alva sells Jason out and reveals that he's the favorite and to start with him. They begin breaking his fingers before going into worse methods. In a completely useless and cringe-worthy manner, Trudy tells them to stop or else Santa will get mad. Like an idiot, Trudy tells them that she's been talking to Santa and that he's her friend. Her parents try to deny it, but she is adamant on the fact and insists that she's talking to him before her father angrily blurts out that Santa isn't real. Come on, Jason, even the bad guys wouldn't stoop this low. Trudy then storms out and escapes. Santa finds a room to gather himself in. He reveals a heavily tattooed and scarred body and begins stitching his wound, showing us that this is not his first rodeo. In true Christmas fashion, he wraps his wound in Christmas wrapping before passing out and having flashbacks of his mysterious past before being woken up by Trudy's calls. She tells him she's hiding in the attic and that she can set up booby traps. She begins questioning Santa's existence, but he tells her that he still delivers presents to kids who need him. He confirms to her that he's real by telling her of the time she wrote to him and the gifts he brought her. He tells her about the Christmas magic, but he doesn't know how it really works. He also tells her to be understanding with her parents. She asks him if she can use his Christmas powers to bring her parents back together. He says that he wishes he had this kind of power, and explains that he's been separated from Mrs. Claus for over 1,000 years and still loves her. One of the guards tells the family to open their presents, which alarms Jason. Morgan pitches a movie idea to Gert. Alva gives her another gift, but she doesn't like it and asks Jason to bring his. Jason tries to dodge the request, but Bert gets the gift and hands it to Gert. It's her favorite whiskey with a note. As she starts reading, she is shocked and saddened, and Jason watches regretfully. She thanks him and puts the note away, refusing to reveal what it says to the others. Santa explains to Trudy that he wasn't always Santa. He had parents and a life long ago. He was called Nico Mund the Red. He recalls his past as a Viking warrior plundering and murdering anyone in his way with Skullcrusher, his favorite hammer. He wasn't always good, he was the top dog of the naughty list. Trudy tells him that he can use the bad things he used to do for good and get them out of this situation, and he tells her to stay hidden till he finds her. With 30 minutes until the death squad's arrival, Santa creeps from behind the bartender and accidentally sets off a decoration. He runs away into a room and Scrooge blows the door open, knocking him out. Trudy watches from above as they look through his bag and endlessly pull out all sorts of things, as Santa explains that it's magic and he doesn't understand how it works. Scrooge demands to know who he is and Santa replies with all the different names he has. They don't believe him and Scrooge burns his bag, destroying the hopes of countless children and earning his name, as he just ruined Christmas. Scrooge reveals that he hates Christmas as he was poor growing up and everyone else wasn't. Santa reveals that Scrooge's real name is Jimmy and apologizes for his tough upbringing, and he freaks the team out by revealing all their names as well as their wishes and secrets. Jimmy is about to shoot him before noticing that the room is suddenly snowing. He figures that it is styrofoam coming from Trudy through the vents, and Santa finally manages to pull his Houdini and transports up the chimney to the roof. They are then informed that the extraction team is approaching the mansion. Gert and Bert revel at the sound of their arrival, and Morgan finally awakens the action hero hidden deep inside and perfectly kicks the guard down before ditching them and running away. Morgan is intercepted by the death squad, and they execute him. Santa watches from a distance as he finds the death squad's names on the naughty list as well as they're working with the robbers. The squad is instructed to find and kill Santa, who's spotted and shot at. The team finally opens up the vault to find that it's empty. Scrooge is furious and says that someone must have stolen the money. Trudy checks up on a wounded and weakened Santa. He tells her that he thinks this is it. There are too many guys on the naughty list and his faith is wavering. Trudy tells him not to give up and make a wish of his own for once. He wishes to see Mrs. Claus again, and she tells him to make that wish come true. Santa drops his ring and it leads him to his favorite weapon of choice, a hammer, rekindling his hope. Trudy tells him that these guys are naughty, and Santa punishes naughty people. Santa gets reacquainted with the hammer and waits for the team to enter the barn. As the team makes their way inside, Santa starts to brutally take them out one by one, while Jimmy shoots up the mansion and demands to know where the money is. Gert finds out about her team's betrayal, and Jimmy tells her that someone took the money and that he'll start shooting people till he knows where it is. Bert finally does something useful and asks him what if he randomly shoots the only person who knows where it is. Santa continues to take out the team in a brutal fashion. He uses the candy cane he saved as a weapon to kill the remaining soldiers inside. He even uses a pair of ice skating shoes he found as weapons, slashing at the soldiers before he decapitates one of them. He fires up a shredder and sends more soldiers through it. Eventually, he takes out the entire death squad, and the last one tries to flee but is blown up with his own grenade. Jimmy says that Gert would never trust anyone with any information. He threatens to shoot Linda, and Jason reveals that it was he who stole the money and planned to take his wife and daughter and the money and never see the rest of the family again, leaving a whiskey bottle with a note to his mother that she ironically ends up reading in front of him. The guard and bartender search for Trudy and find an obvious trap that she laid out. She thinks this is a Home Alone movie. The guard mocks her traps right before he falls for another one and is stabbed through his jaw. The bartender climbs over him and Trudy sends bowling balls their way, which knocks the guard on the spikes. Both of them continue to get hit until a ball drives the final nail in the coffin, literally killing the guard. The bartender gets stuck on another trap and is glued to the floor, sticking her entire body. She gruesomely gets out and is about to shoot Trudy before Santa saves her. Santa asks Trudy to look away and makes some noise as he is enraged and goes to execute the bartender for trying to kill an innocent child. Meanwhile, Gert tells Jason that she understands what he did, as the family is historically known for being horrible people and that she's actually proud of him. Jason leads them to where the money is and Jimmy orders the team to execute the hostages. Linda, Alva, and Bert all argue while the guard is confused as to who to shoot first, driving him to lose his cool, which they instantly take advantage of and take him out. Linda says it's nice to do something as a family for a change before Alva kills the guard. Santa comes back with Trudy and he is introduced to the family. He hands Linda a gun and she starts to fire at the remaining survivors of the team. Santa takes out a soldier aiming at Linda. He starts throwing snowballs at them while Jimmy and the squad leader escape. Santa kills the remaining guards and grabs a board to go after them. Jason and Linda share a moment before being attacked by a guard who wakes up. They both take turns attacking him while Santa hijacks a snowmobile and continues chasing after them. Gert distracts the leader and he gets knocked down by a tree. Linda manages to stab the guard and kill him. Trudy watches with joy as Linda and Jason are finally back together and kiss under the mistletoe. Santa continues chasing Jimmy, who waits for him in the distance. He crashes into a barn as Jimmy starts firing. Jimmy finds the magic scroll and finds himself on the naughty list, realizing that all along Santa was real. Jimmy's whole life has been leading up to fighting Santa and finally killing Christmas. The two fight and the barn explodes with the snowmobile. They both face off outside, Santa versus Scrooge. Ironically, Santa slips on the icy surface as if he doesn't have experience on snowy surfaces. Jimmy stabs him from behind, but Santa continues fighting. Santa tries to overpower him, but Jimmy's shoe grip allows him to get the better of him and stab him again. He pins his hand to a piece of wood, and right before he delivers the killing blow, Santa cuts his hand through the blade and grabs him, pulling his Houdini once again, with Jimmy coming along for the ride, ripping him to shreds. Santa is suddenly shot by the squad leader, but right before he kills Santa, Gert appears and shoots him point blank. Stone Cold Gert to the rescue. Trudy and the rest of the family arrive to find Santa dying. He says that Trudy was actually the one who saved him by believing in him. Jason burns the money to keep Santa warm, who says he's used up all his Christmas magic as he dies. As we witness the sad scene of a lifeless Santa, Trudy refuses to accept reality and continues to believe in him blindly. Her faith trickles down on the rest of the family as they all follow suit, causing even the ruthless Gert to shed a tear. Suddenly, Santa wakes up and says he still doesn't understand how the magic works. Santa's reindeer arrive at the scene after all the trouble is over. He finds his spare sack on the sled with a note from Mrs. Claus alongside Skullcrusher, his favorite hammer. Santa says goodbye to Trudy and thanks her for reminding him that Christmas still matters. The movie wraps up as Santa flies away on the sled and heads to deliver the rest of the presents, saving Christmas. This movie captures the Christmas spirit with some comedic brutal action. Santa's powers are all based on the Christmas spirit and belief. When he is doubting himself, that's when he is having problems getting up a chimney or pulling the right gift out of his sack. When Trudy, and later on Santa himself, begins to express belief in him, Santa finds himself able to hold his own. Where in the beginning one guard was able to nearly kill him. Later, when Santa gains a new hammer and regains faith, he brutalizes an entire team of highly trained mercenaries with ease. The movie is already confirmed for a sequel, and we can't wait to witness what else Santa has in store for us, and a possible Mrs. Claus reunion. Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support is so important. And tell me what you think about this film. Did you enjoy a new violent and gory twist to a Christmas movie? And where does it rank among your all-time Christmas movies? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.